it is always better to beg than to steal. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. To start with, there are a lot of reasons why you will find yourself in the position to kind of beg anybody for help on the street. It could be because you lost your wallet. It could be because you have no money. Yes, it could be for many reasons. It could be for many reasons. Or you don't have change. So there could be many reasons. There's nothing as embarrassing as to ask for help and don't get it, you know. So in this video, I'm going to tell you how to successfully beg for money on the street, and I will tell you my own personal experience as well. Okay, so the first time that I can remember ever begging for money on the streets of Lagos, the first time ever. Okay, if you watched my old videos, if you haven't watched my videos, one or two video back, I had two videos about how I was engaged to be married to this pastor and he dumped me. There's so much sunlight, I can't complain because we don't get much sunlight in Ireland. So now I have massive sun out there, and if I keep adjusting my camera, I'll be adjusting all day. I'm gonna make the video, you can hear me, you can see me. And then another video back as well, maybe like 4 or 5 videos back, I talked about how my father got me beaten up. So basically I became born again. I stopped. I'm gonna talk fast because I don't want the video to be too long. I became born again and I stopped going to the Catholic church, and my father wasn't happy about that, and he made my life hell. At the end of the day, I had to move out because he was making my life hell. So so later on then, anyways, I got engaged to this pastor after he broke up with me, because then I was in a Bible college. I was living in the hostel of a Bible college. After he broke up with me, because he used to be the one that kind of like did things, like he used to give me money, he used to get me clothes and stuff. Like when he disconnected from me, you know, I had nobody. So I had no money, I had nothing. I was barely surviving. I lived in a hostel where I basically used to wait for my, because I was in a hostel of a Bible college, so it was a pastoral school. So I used to depend on a lot of my fellow students to cook, and I'll be like, can you give me something to eat? And that was how I survived, because I had nobody, I had nowhere to go. Like, so people have actually asked me, where was my mom? I'm gonna make another video about my mom. And I've actually found that a lot of you enjoy me telling the story of my life. Like, I have no problem sharing the story of my life, because if I don't share the story of my life, the day I die, my story will be dead. And the more I share my story, I just feel like my story will live on, you know. I know my children know my story and stuff like that. I tell them a lot of my stories, but the more I share my videos, my stories, the more, like I keep saying, my stories will live on. So anyways, and I find that some people find my stories inspiring, so why not? So I'm gonna keep talking fast. Like, I was really like, I had nothing at all. Like, I was struggling. So I decided to go to Lagos to visit my sister. I grew up in Benin. I spent most of my life in Benin growing up, and I decided to join, I decided to go to Lagos to go see my sister. My sister was a teacher in Lagos, and I wanted to go see her because I wanted to just go and get a break from starving all the time, because I didn't have food. I was struggling. There was no food to eat. So I wanted to go at least stay with her for a while and at least eat for a while. I know when I'm going back, she's gonna give me some money. I went to the University of Benin, UniBen, which is is actually on the way to Lagos. So a lot of cars going to Lagos. I don't know, and I left Lagos, I left Nigeria about 16 years ago, roughly 16 years ago. So the things may have changed, but then if you're coming from the east, you have to go through Benin to go to Lagos. So so normally you have to drive in front of the University of Benin. So a lot of the cars going to Lagos or coming from Lagos used to go from the front of University of Benin. So sometimes there are a lot of buses and cars that pick up passengers from front of UniBen, and they tend to be cheaper. I knew I didn't have enough money to go to Lagos, but I knew if I go there, I'm going to find one of the cheap ones, you know, cheaper vehicles to get in to go to Lagos. So this bus turned up and picked up passengers, and I went in, and luckily for me, the amount they were asking for was exactly what I had. Maybe like 100, and if I remember right, it was like 160 naira. That's ages ago now, ages ago. So I would have been maybe 19, I think, 18, 19, around that age, 18, 19. So that's a long time ago. I'm 40 now. I got into this bus with no money on me, nothing, zero, and I was going to Lagos to see my sister. I had nothing. Got into this bus with an empty stomach. I had not ate all day because I had no money, I had nothing. So we got into this bus and we're traveling to Lagos. and I noticed the girl sitting by my side. You know the way sometimes they stop? Everywhere we stopped, this girl sitting by my side bought something to eat, egg roll, meat pie, gala. So I was just eyeing her like, okay, I knew she had money, because I know when I get to Lagos, the bus is gonna stop at, what's it called now? Ojota. Is it Ojota? It's Ojota. My sister lived at Ebute Metta. Am I getting it all mixed up? Yeah, Ebute Metta. Ebute Metta is where the railway compound was. I got to when we got to Lagos and we got off the bus and we were getting our luggages from the back, I was just eyeing her like, I have to like talk to this girl. So I quickly, as soon as I got my luggage, she got her luggage, I just went to her and I said, I'm really sorry to ask you. I said, can you please help me with 20 naira? I need to get another bus to go to my sister's. I said, I have no money on me. She kind of sympathized. She did see, like, she looked at me with that eye of, you know, and she just gave it to me. On one hand, I was so grateful, but on the other hand, I felt so sorry for myself, because that girl would have been around my age, maybe maximum 2 years older than me, but she had the money enough to even give out, but I didn't have money to go meet my sister. So that was my first time ever that I can remember ever begging for money on the streets. It was nerve-wracking, but at the same time, I had no choice. I always believe it is always better to beg than to steal. A lot of people are willing to help, but when you want to beg for help, you have to put a lot of things into consideration. I'm not making this video to encourage anybody to turn it into a job or a profession. I feel like if you ever find yourself in a tight situation, there's nothing wrong in begging for help. The things that make it easy to beg for help, what I would say is this: the way you look says a lot about you. I think a lot of people are very willing to help somebody that looks alright than they would help someone that looks like there's something wrong with you. If you look like a beggar, if you know what I mean, people will be like, oh yeah. But when you look regular, let me use that word, I don't want to say normal, but let's say you look like a regular guy, like regular lady, and they're more willing to help you when you look like an everyday person. They're more to look at you like, that could be me. They're more likely to put themselves in your shoes. So I would say, mind the way you look. When I begged for money on the streets, now let's be honest, I didn't do it a lot of times. I've done it a few times when I found myself in a tight situation. I didn't find it easy to do, but I will do it. If I have to, I will do it, because I'd rather ask for help than steal. That's me. So another thing is, I never ever begged money from a guy. I always beg from ladies. It depends on the part of the world you're in. If you're in Europe or wherever, it may be different. I think it would be different. Yeah. But in Nigeria, I would never beg a man for money on the street. I would find it hard. If you beg a lady for money, a lady knows you're just a lady like myself. She's not gonna look at you like, okay, what's she doing? What's she up to? Like, no, it's different. If you beg a Nigerian man for money, I have to be careful. I hate to generalize. All Nigerian men are not the same. You know, let's be honest. Just like all ladies are not the same. But there are a lot of men that if you beg them for money on the streets of Lagos, they are gonna give you. But a lot of them, some men will expect you to pay back in kind. Yes. Some men may offer you help. Oh yeah, can you give me money for, I just want to get the bus. He's gonna be like, oh yeah, my car is here, come on, I'll give you a lift. And a lot of the time they may be, this is my fear. I never tried it, so I don't know, but those are the things I always had fear of. That he's gonna want to give, he may be like, oh yeah, I'll give you a lift. He may want to, like, you know, turn it to something else. When I was growing up in Nigeria, I used to feel like if I ask a man for money, he may think, oh yeah, she's just using that to talk to me. She may be interested in me. You know, there's a chance for me to, you know, go further with her and stuff like that. That really did put me off from asking men for money or for help. Never. Like, ask a man to, oh, can you help me with money? I would never do it. So think about that. So I would say, if you're in Nigeria especially, I would say ask a lady. But if it's just you, asking just, you know, I feel like if I ask a man, he's gonna think I want him to date me, or that I'm just using that as an excuse to kind of like, you know, I want him to take me home or stuff like that. So I was never comfortable to ask a man for money. something else, I would not lie. There is no point in lying and be like, oh, I lost my wallet, when it's not true. No, if you lost your wallet, say you lost your wallet. If you didn't lose your wallet, I have no change, can I get change? Or, you know, or if you have no money, I would, all the times that I ever ask for help, I would say it, I'm sorry, I have no money. Can you please help me with transport? I'm going to blah blah blah, I need to go see my sister. I'm really sorry to disturb you. I'm really embarrassed to ask you, but can you please help me with this? If you're too shy to ask, try to ask where there's not too many people around you, you know. But sometimes it's actually, you're better off asking where there are other people around you, so you feel safe because there's everybody there, and everybody, you feel safe because you know, okay, yeah, everybody's here and they're gonna know. And the thing again about asking where there are a group of people is, one person may not have, the other one may have, or the other one may have. It gives you a better chance of getting help. Another way to ask for money is if you have something on you and you're like, okay, this is the extreme cases now, and be like, this is my jewelry is worth this amount, can you please give me money in exchange for my jewelry? Like, I'm talking of extreme cases where you're really in a tight situation and you're too embarrassed to ask. Okay, you feel like, okay, if I give him or her this in place of what I'm begging for. Every single time I've ever asked for help, I have been helped. The biggest thing would be your appearance. Let's be honest, we're all gonna have struggles sometimes in our lives. There's gonna be times when we're gonna find ourselves in tight situations